The weight of silence. Daniel had always thought love was a language he and Emily spoke fluently. They had their shorthand, half smiles across crowded rooms, the comfort of a hand finding the other in the dark, the inside jokes only they understood. To their friends, they were the couple who just got it, the ones others measured themselves against. But beneath the laughter and Sunday morning coffees, there had always been silence too. Not the comfortable kind, but the kind where words were swallowed instead of spoken. Daniel noticed it sometimes, the way Emily's eyes drifted out the window when he asked about her day, or how she changed the subject when conversations veered too close to feelings. He told himself it was nothing. She was private, and that was fine. Every couple had their quirks. He didn't know silence could carry so much weight until she was gone. It was a rainy Thursday when everything changed. Daniel had been in back-to-back meetings, his phone silenced on the desk. By the time he checked it, there were 6 missed calls, all from an unknown number. He called back, irritation bubbling, only to hear the words that hollowed him out. "Mr. Clark? Your wife has been in an accident. I'm so sorry." The hospital room was sterile, humming with machines that were no longer needed. Emily lay pale against the white sheets, her auburn hair tangled across the pillow. Daniel's knees nearly gave out as he approached. He touched her hand. It was already cold. The doctor explained it had been a car crash, sudden, unavoidable. She hadn't suffered. That was supposed to be comforting. It wasn't. The funeral came in a blur. Friends hugged him, relatives murmured condolences, strangers from Emily's work dabbed their eyes and whispered about how unfair it all was. Daniel stood stiff, mechanical, nodding when expected, thanking them as though gratitude could fill the crater in his chest. When the crowd thinned and the house grew quiet, Daniel sat in the dark with Emily's sweater clutched to his face, inhaling the faint trace of her perfume. That's when the silence began pressing down, thick, suffocating, impossible to escape. Grief rearranges a home. The kitchen felt colder without her humming while she cooked. The bed stretched endlessly without her curled on one side, stealing the blankets. Her toothbrush still leaned against his in the holder, mocking him with its permanence. Daniel tried to keep busy. He answered emails, forced himself to the gym, let friends drag him out for drinks. But the nights stretched long and merciless. That's when he started sifting through her things, part ritual, part self-destruction. At first it was harmless. Old letters, birthday cards, photo albums. Each memory was a double-edged blade, comfort and pain entwined. But then he opened her laptop. The password was their anniversary date. That small detail gutted him. Inside, her email overflowed with unread messages, mostly junk. But one thread caught his eye. Ethan. The name was unfamiliar. His chest tightened as he clicked. The messages weren't explicitly romantic, but they were intimate. Late-night check-ins, shared frustrations, jokes he didn't understand. A bond. And then, in one message weeks before her death, "Sometimes I wonder if I made the right choices. If life could have been different with you." Daniel stared at the screen until his vision blurred. He told himself it was harmless. People vent. People wonder. It didn't mean she'd betrayed him. But the words festered. He dug deeper. In her desk drawer, beneath sketchbooks, he found a journal. He shouldn't have opened it. But grief makes voyeurs of us all. The entries were scattered. Thoughts, confessions, fragments. She wrote about loving Daniel, about their trips, their shared dreams. But she also wrote about loneliness. About how he buried himself in work. How she sometimes felt invisible. And then there it was, blunt and merciless. "I kissed Ethan today. I don't know why. It didn't feel like love, just escape. I hate myself. But I can't tell Daniel. It would destroy him." Daniel dropped the journal as if it had burned him. His chest heaved, anger crashing against sorrow. She had cheated. Even if it was just a kiss, it was betrayal. And she had carried that secret to her grave, leaving him to carry the weight alone. Days turned to weeks, and Daniel became haunted not just by Emily's absence, but by the truths she had hidden. The woman he thought he knew, the one who promised him forever, had been more complicated, more flawed, more human than he ever realized. He cycled through rage and longing. Some nights he cursed her, yelling into the empty house about her lies. Other nights he curled into her sweater, whispering apologies for the words he never said when she was alive. Friends told him to seek closure, to forgive. But how could he forgive someone who wasn't here to ask for it? The breaking point came one evening when he found himself outside Ethan's apartment. He had tracked him down, rage fueling every step. He pictured confronting him, demanding answers, maybe even throwing a punch. But when Ethan opened the door, Daniel froze. He wasn't some villain, just a man in his 30s with tired eyes. And when Daniel said Emily's name, Ethan's face crumpled. "She loved you," Ethan said quietly. "She always talked about you. Whatever happened between us, it was brief, stupid, and she regretted it every second after. Don't let that one mistake erase everything else she gave you." Daniel left without a word, his anger hollowed out, replaced by something heavier. Understanding. Healing didn't come quickly. It didn't come cleanly. But slowly, Daniel began to accept that love is never as simple as we want it to be. Emily had been flawed. She had hurt him. But she had also loved him, fiercely, in her own imperfect way. In therapy, he learned to hold both truths at once. That she had betrayed him, and that she had been the greatest joy of his life. That forgiveness wasn't about excusing her, but about freeing himself. One spring morning, months later, Daniel packed Emily's journal, her sweater, and her favorite book into a box. He carried it to the park where they used to walk, sat beneath their favorite oak tree, and let himself cry. Not just for her death, not just for her betrayal, but for the weight of silence they had both carried. When the tears finally subsided, Daniel felt something he hadn't in a long time. Not peace, not yet, but a lightness, a space where forgiveness might someday grow. He whispered into the wind, as if she could hear him still. "I loved you, I still do, and that has to be enough." The silence that answered was softer now, less suffocating. It no longer felt like absence, it felt like memory. And for the first time since the accident, Daniel stood, shoulders lighter, ready to walk forward, carrying both the love and the pain, knowing they were inseparable, knowing they were his to bear. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and a comment of what you thought of the story, and don't forget to subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it.